we do read the comments and we do pay attention to what people want. And we had a lady that saw the video and she was interested in knowing how we came about coming to know each other. So again, one cop, one convict. I'm Dorian Graham, retired Atlanta police captain, and I'm here with Ricky Johnson. Ricky Johnson, tell us a little bit about yourself and how we came in contact with each other.
Yes, I'm Ricky Johnson. I've served 37 years off and on in the Georgia prison system. And I was introduced to Captain Graham by a mutual friend of his and mine. I participated in the June 10th parade this year in Carrollton, Georgia. And after the parade, my friend told me that Captain Graham would come and he would be able to introduce us. And so he did. We met over Martin Luther King Street on the west side of Carrollton, where all the vendors got together after the June 10th parade and set up. And so when I met Captain Graham, we introduced ourselves. And, he seemed to be just a normal guy, you know, and he told me about his 30 years with the Atlanta Police Department, and he retired as a captain, and that was somewhat intriguing to me. And I told him about my prison experience and what my goal was to try to put together a podcast to try to reach young people, educate them about the criminal justice system, incarceration, gang violence, gang activity, gang prevention, to try to minimize mass incarceration. And so, fortunately, we both had the same idea. And so we was able to come together on those terms. And I have never seen two people, a retired captain from the police department and an ex-prisoner, come together with the same agenda. Captain Graham spent his first 30 years incarcerating people, and now he wants to spend the rest of his life dedicating it to the community in reference to educating people about crime to keep them from entering into the jailhouse and the criminal justice system. And so that is a very, very intriguing thing to me. And one of the things that Captain Graham asked me when we was having our conversation when we first met, I don't know if you remember it or not, you asked me did I believe in God? and I said yes, and I said, but I'm not a religious person. I said, my understanding of God is somewhat different from the religious understanding of God. So I'm a spiritual person. And so when I explained to him my understanding of God and my experience with God, and he said, we're on the same page. And so that, I assumed that by him seeing this ump that I wear, that's what compelled him to ask me, did I believe in God?
No, it wasn't an ump. I mean, I just like to know a person and get a chance to understand the person, and we had such good conversation. I realized that you was very, very intelligent. And of course, we have our own beliefs about people in jail, especially having a lot of time on your hands, you do a lot of reading, and you was familiar with a lot of things, and we talked about masonry, we talked about religion, and I think that's how we kind of got on to talking about masonry, and then of course that came up. So, but yeah, that's how we got to know each other, through a mutual friend, and here we are today, and we're trying to make sure that, the other thing we want people to know is that cops are people, just like people that go to prison are people. And we can talk to one another. We can learn from one another. So that's why we decided to do what we're doing and getting our information out now. Yeah. So, having said that, anything else you want to add, Ricky?
Yes. Our goal is not just to put together a podcast, but we have a greater vision. And that vision is to be able to go into the schools and speak to the young children and go into the community and do some community activism activity to educate the children and inspire them to go into the jails and talk to young guys that have not entered into the criminal justice system that may not enter into the criminal justice system, and also in the juvenile facilities to try to catch those young ones before they grow up and embark on a serious life of crime that will land them in prison for the rest of their life. Because in the state of Georgia, if you commit a serious violent felony and receive a life sentence, you will serve 30 years in prison before you're even eligible for parole. Not before you get out, but before you're even eligible to be considered for parole.
All right. Look, we're not going to talk about it this time, but I know the viewers going to want to know because I was really interested when you talked about it too. But we're going to talk about your time in prison and speaking with Wayne Williams, who was notorious for the missing and murdered children in Atlanta, Georgia, back in the, I want to say, late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely want to talk about that. We're going to talk about gang violence. We're going to talk about racism inside the jail, whether it be amongst inmates or how does it play out when it comes to the correctional officers and the inmates. I mean, are you guys treated fairly? So we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about. We got a lot of things that we should. And viewers, we just want you guys to know that we definitely read the comments. So if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe, like what you like, comment, and subscribe. But until then, Ricky, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to say stay safe and be great.